welcome to episode 3 of the Success Agency podcast. And got quite a bit to get into today, so let's get rolling. So I've got a pretty good business article to look at, and then we've got content for the day, or for the week rather. It's going to be walking you guys through Facebook lead ads, and then I've got a good movie review. I've got a great book review that we'll get into. Let's get into it. I want to get into this article first I saw on Fox Business. The Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey, has admitted in an interview that he believes Twitter divides people. So as I'm sure everybody's seen on Twitter how the rhetoric could get very, very angry and mean and quite divisive 90% of the time. So he talked with Rolling Stone about they've been receiving constant criticism about divisiveness and abuse. So Dorsey founded the site in 2006. Twitter has amassed hundreds of millions of users around the globe who log in the app several times a day. And Dorsey had also admitted, as have other users, to be addicted to the platform. Twitter's so much fun. I love going on Twitter as a consumer. It's really hard for a business to really use Twitter, though, as a social media marketing standpoint. The space is so loud. You could scroll through hundreds of tweets in seconds, and it's so easy for your tweets to get overlooked, as well as if you pay for promoted tweets, for them to get overlooked as well. So to be successful on the platform, you have to have mass amounts of tweets every day, all of them being creative content, everything being relevant on the Twitter sphere.
There's rumors in the Twitter sphere.
So let's get into this article a little bit more. So Jack Dorsey said, "I feel the weight of how our tool is used in society and how it's been used for the good and how it's been used for stuff I'm not proud of. We definitely create isolation. We definitely make it easy for people to confirm their own bias." So Twitter, I also love that you're hearing everything from the person's point of view. So I kind of say it's like the fireside chats that we used to have for, I believe, Franklin Roosevelt. So to hear the president tweet, it's like, yeah, Franklin Roosevelt's fireside chats. We're hearing it right from his point of view, not from his mouth anymore, but from his tweets. And sometimes they could get a little crazy, can't lie, but it's cool. I mean, if you were to tell somebody 100 years ago, back in the 1920s even after the fireside chats, like, you'll be able to see your president talk every couple of minutes. Just see what he'd wrote for the day, see what he'd done for the day, within minutes, right from your phone. Direct connection lines, which is, I think, fantastic, personally, as a citizen's point of view, to hear what your president thinks right off the bat, to hear what anybody in government thinks right off the bat. It's great. So I love Twitter in that atmosphere. But Twitter has rolled out a raft of anti-harassment tools that have taken steps to remove accounts that violate its policies. But many users still want the company to do more. I personally, as more of a libertarian standpoint, believe that we shouldn't have one person in all this control of what speech we're allowed to. You see a lot of conservative journalists and conservative, more or less, figures. A lot of them get censored heavily on Twitter and get their accounts suspended, all for tweets that do go by Twitter standards and policies and are protected by the First Amendment. But you see a lot of accounts get removed and suspended and stuff like that. So I hope they figure out what they have to do. So one thing that I found interesting is that they were planning on rolling out some programs for Twitter, like not being able to see how many likes or retweets a tweet has gotten, which I think is really cool, because it's going to almost level the playing field for people like the Kardashians, who have millions and millions of followers, and just somebody like me who doesn't have millions of followers. So our tweets are almost at the same level, because you don't know how many retweets I've got versus so many retweets a Kanye West or Kim Kardashian has. Let me get the direct quote. "I actually think of what happens if we remove the like counts." So I'm really excited to see, because maybe if they produce these different policies, that some businesses could hop on the bandwagon and really kind of take off with their social media approach. So let's see what Twitter has to do in the upcoming weeks. So the next thing I wanted to get into is the content for the week. Last week we had done creating content like the pros, getting your videos or pictures that have words above and below them, but now let's really get into the high performing ads on Facebook. Now, my favorite social media tactic is running Facebook lead ads. So we are going to be showing you guys how to run a Facebook lead ad. I use this for 100% of my real estate clients. We've gotten leads for a lot of cases when they first start running under $1 a lead, and that gets you name, email, and phone number for a real estate agent. This is so crucial to your business. And on Zillow, Trulia, you could sometimes be paying up to $70 just for someone's name, email, and phone number, and they could just be somebody looking on Realtor.com or Zillow and just browsing. They could have no intention of buying a home. And so you do see in a lot of cases the Facebook lead ads, the leads aren't as high of quality, so I'm going to walk you guys through creating a lead ad and how to maximize its effectiveness on the lead form. So asking qualifying questions like, say you're running an ad for a realtor, and instead of just having name, email, or phone number to set up a showing, you could say, what's a good time to set up a showing? What is your buying time frame? Now, you're not allowed to ask questions like, what are you pre-qualified for a mortgage? Because that's getting into Facebook policies of not asking financial questions in this thing. So here's the video, and then it'll be uploaded separately also onto YouTube of how to run a successful lead ad on Facebook. Okay, so let's walk you guys through the Facebook lead ads. And now I'm in the ads manager, and the objective, of course, is lead generation. Now these are strategies I've used to produce over 100 leads for some clients. I've produced over 100 leads for a party rental client, and of course I've produced hundreds of leads over the past year for a ton of real estate clients. I'll show you some results. I'll pull those up here right now. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, of course, you're going to select the Facebook page, and if you've got catalog sales, you'll put those in here. So this is it. Let's walk it through just a local small business. So say you're in, we'll say we're in my neighborhood, so we're in Niagara Falls. Not Niagara, Wisconsin. Across New York. Now, of course, if you just want to do business in the United States, we'll have to exclude Canada. So maybe I'm selling a house in Niagara Falls, or I'm a gym in Niagara Falls looking to give some free offers for free classes. So select your age demographic. Of course, if it's real estate, we're going to go a little older. Now, the detailed targeting comes into play a lot. I always suggest using custom audiences if you already have an email list or something like that, uploading the custom audiences and putting those in instead of the detailed targeting. But say we're a real estate client, we're going to be doing Realtor.com. Suggestions always help out. Zillow, Trulia. Now for housing, we cannot use income. The income narrow. But say we're a high-priced gym, we could do top 5%, 10 to 20, top 10%. Do physical exercise. We got 37,000 people in this area in that demo. I always edit my placements. Facebook feeds will always serve you best. But I've also gotten into Facebook stories. Facebook and Instagram stories. Feeds always work best though. When in doubt, go with the feeds. Now I like to start my ads out at $5 to $10 a day minimum. That'll see where your cost per lead is coming in. So we want the lowest cost. We don't want to set a bid. We'll let Facebook set it for us. Now the creative is where it gets important. So of course, select your Facebook page. Now, if I'm a real estate client, I'm going slideshow, always. And then I'm picking, just create the slideshow here. And I'm going to be picking a lot of photos of houses. Maybe you have a listing, it's going to be all pictures of the listing. Let's see if I have any saved. Yeah, I got a couple saved. Choose the original so they can see the full house. 2 seconds. 2 seconds in the fade always serves me best. Walk through and create the slideshow. Now if you're a gym, maybe pictures of the gym or a carousel of the gym. And then the text, if you're a real estate client, I'm taking it right from the MLS. Just copying and pasting from there, but beautiful home. Great neighborhood, etc. I'll try to spell that right. And then headline is important too, so great home in Niagara Falls, New York. Display link, I'll go to whatever the realtor's website is. Call to action, I click learn more. And then in the description, I'll put for more info or to set up a showing, click learn more. I don't know why it's taking so long. But. So then that'll bring them to the lead form. Now for the lead form, I'll walk you through a new form. So if you're a real estate client, it'll be a buyer form. I always go more volume. I take away the intro completely, and the question will be learn to set up a showing or for more info, enter your info below. And email, full name, phone number is the basics. Now, a lot of times you'll get a ton of info and some of the leads will be bad. So I include current street address and then I'll add custom questions, short answer, best time of day for a showing. And then I'll add another one, maybe a multiple choice. What's your buying time frame? Then answers could be 0 to 2 months, 2 to 4 months, 4+ months. Now the more questions, the higher quality the lead's going to be. And then privacy policy, you could steal that right from your brokerage's place. If you go say, I'm working with a client that does work at Howard Hanna. I'll go right to howardhanna.com. Scroll down to the bottom. You could see legal info. So that's their privacy policy. We'll copy that. Paste it right here in the link URL. Link text. Privacy. Thank you screen. Send them to the website. Of course, we're not going to use the privacy policy. Maybe to whatever website that their name is on. Now, if you're a gym and you're trying to get maybe giving away free classes for your info, I would just do name, email, phone number. And then thanks, you're all set. You click finish. If everything's right, you'll see 5 check marks. Now let's see if the ad loaded. So beautiful home in your neighborhood for more info. This is what the ad looked like. And of course, Facebook lead ads are so powerful. Now, after a while, you could hook up a Facebook chat bot to it. Through ManyChat, of course, you should connect to a CRM if you have one. Zapier, I believe I recommend Zapier. It's $20 a month, and the leads will get emailed to you a second after they submit them. This is what it looks like on a desktop. So that's it. Okay. All right, so I want to get right into the book review. I think we're going to do the book review first today. So I sat back and I reread Grant Cardone's The Millionaire Booklet. Now, this is something you could pick up. I think I got it for free off of a Grant Cardone Facebook ad. I think I just paid $2 for shipping. And it is, let me check it out, 44 pages total. Actually, only 42 from start to finish. And it's something that I believe is awesome to read at the beginning of the year. Really get you motivated for the year. Highly recommend this. There's so much that I took away from this book in just 44 pages. I believe Grant Cardone said he wrote this in one sitting. So it's The Millionaire Booklet, How to Get Super Rich by Grant Cardone. And I'll walk you through some of the major points and takeaways that I got from this. So point number one that I got taken away, that I took away from this is getting rich is not a fantasy. And he'll go over how many people get rich on a daily basis and some ways that he's gotten rich and some of the advice he's gotten over years. And then, of course, that gets into our second takeaway is, where do you get your advice from? So are you getting your business or financial advice from somebody who's struggling paycheck to paycheck, or are you getting it from somebody who's been there and who's done that, somebody who's made a couple $1 million in business and that sort of thing? So he also says, make the decision to get rich. So that's another thing you hear a lot from Tony Robbins. You have to make a decision, and then your actions have to follow suit with your decision, which I think is important. And then my favorite part of this book is called Millionaire Math, and I'll pull the chart up right here. Here are a few ways to make $1 million, and of course he goes through if you make a certain salary times the years it would take for you to gross $1 million, and 5,000 people buying a $200 product will gross you $1 million, or 1,000 people paying you $83 a month for 12 months will gross you $1 million. And I believe he calls it millionaire math is important for everyday math. So I do it a lot when I'm running my business. What's my revenue this month? What are my expenses? You have to constantly go over your numbers. If you're thinking about launching a new product, what's the product cost you? How much is shipping? How much is your cost per acquisition? And then that's how you find out your profit margins. I believe millionaire math is crucial to any business. And then some quotes that I liked from the book are, money seems to flow to those who give it the most attention and take the most responsibility for it. And then another quote that is actually my screensaver on my computer is, who's got my money? So that's saying, like, create a list of wealthy people in the area. Let me go right to it. Who's got my money? Make a list of who has your money, the money you want, figure out what you could exchange with them, whether it's a service, a product, an idea. The question you always ask yourself is, who's got my money? You don't need to make money. You need to connect with those who have already collected money, who have the money, and exchange what you have, what they have. So whether your skills and knowledge, and exchange that for money. And he also goes around staying broke, how he stayed broke, how he drove a piece of crap car, he wore terrible shoes, and never invested so much into the luxuries of what he had, and people always thought he was broke, living in a not so nice apartment. And then he said he looked at his bank account and he was a millionaire, so with like $30 shoes and not so nice car, not so nice apartment. He goes, this state of staying broke forced me to continue producing new revenue, which gets us into our next point. Save to invest, not save to save. And then also save to invest in multiple flows of income. So he says this is the key to getting rich, is to have multiple flows of income. But you also need to have parallel flows of income. So say you are a real estate agent and you want to produce another stream of income. The next step for that is maybe having a rental property that's producing you income every month, instead of saying, all right, I'm in the real estate industry, I want to start some business to produce scarves. Like, you're in the real estate industry, multiple flows of income should also have be simple. So simple works, he says. Simple works, you don't want to get too complex. So I'm in a real estate business. I want to maybe get into rental properties next. Then after that, maybe property management company. So that's how you kind of break down your multiple flows of income. All right. So let's get into our movie review now. Now, I did a business review on one of my favorite movies in the world, A Bronx Tale. Now, A Bronx Tale follows Cologido from 9 years old to, I believe, 17 years old in the Bronx in the 60s. And the whole synopsis of the movie is Cologido is a kid in the Bronx, and he idolizes one of the mafia bosses in the neighborhood, which his dad despises. And it's like growing up with two dads. It reminds me a lot of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So that's why I like it so much. And you follow Sonny, the mob boss, who constantly gives him such great advice in the movie. So I wrote down, I've got a couple pages of what I took away from the movie and how you could apply it to business. So it's almost is entrepreneurship's like the mafia. I know it's kind of crazy, but there is some parallels. Now, the mafia has several courses of income flows, of course, from gambling and racketeering and all this illegal things. So to apply it to business, it's like I've got my business, I've got my side hustles, and constantly have to be hustling on either sort of manner. And then the main quote from the movie, which I appreciate so much, is the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. So if you're talented at something, put in the work, because if you have talent and a hard work ethic, anything's possible to be achieved. And another thing, do the right thing and good things will happen. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. It's a scene with Robert De Niro, Cologido's dad, talking to him.
Remember, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't do the right thing, then nothing happens. But when you do right, guess what? Good things happen.
And then another thing I liked is Cologido was talking to Sonny, the mafia boss, when they first met, and he tells him that he's a big Yankees fan and that he cares so much about Mickey Mantle. And another tagline from the movie is Sonny always saying, "Nobody cares."
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
He goes, if your father's behind on the rent, go ask Mickey Mantle to pay your rent. He makes $100,000 a year, which in the 60s is crazy amounts of money, which really kind of puts things into a perspective. Like, we are so invested in sports, especially in the United States, into football, basketball, baseball. We're so invested in all these athletes and figures, and at the end of the day, they could care less about you. So it's like, should you invest your time into watching all these sports, or invest your time into yourself?
Mickey Mantle, is that what you're upset about? Mickey Mantle makes $100,000 a year. How much does your father make?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, see, if your father can't pay the rent, go ask Mickey Mantle, see what he tells you. Mickey Mantle don't care about you, so why should you care about him? Nobody cares.
And then, of course, your network is your net worth. C starts hanging out, Cologido, or C in the movie, starts hanging out with all the mob guys, and he brings some drinks and kind of starts to work a little bit at this bar, the Che Bippy. And he gets $600 in tips over the couple months, and he gets caught by his parents. So, of course, just being in the atmosphere with all these wealthy people got him $600 in tips. And I believe the main thing I took away from this is Sonny tells him to go to school, go to college, but you're also getting two educations, one at school and one from the street, which I think is so important for kids. Go to school, but at the same time, maybe have a side hustle. Maybe learn how to flip things. Go on eBay. I like to go to TJ Maxx, find things on sale or on clearance, then flip them on eBay. And so, always have a side hustle. In school, I also bought 1,000 candy bars, and I would sell boxes of kids to sell to other people. So I was making a couple $100 a month doing that in school. So always have a side hustle, always constantly be learning. So you're in school right now, maybe you're in high school, you're in college, but start to learn about business. You could actually do things that cost zero money to start up, like a social media marketing agency, like learning how to run Facebook ads, learning how to flip things like that. So always be learning. Get your education from the school, and also get it from the street. Now, another great scene is when Robert De Niro was talking about, or Sonny was telling about the working man's a sucker, and how pretty much the hustlers and the guys who take shortcuts are the ones who end up wealthy. But Robert De Niro also comes back with that, and he goes, the working man's a tough guy. He goes, it doesn't take much strength to pull a trigger, but try getting up every morning and driving a bus. He goes, then we'll see who the tough guy is.
Sonny was right. The working man is a sucker, Dad. He's a sucker.
He's wrong. It don't take much strength to pull a trigger, but try and get up every morning, day after day, and work for a living. Let's see him try that. Then we'll see who's the real tough guy. The working man is the tough guy. Your father's the tough guy.
Everybody loves him, just like everybody loves you on the bus. It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same. People don't love him. They fear him. There's a difference.
Sonny also talks a lot about Nick Machiavelli and availability, and he says that he lives in the neighborhood how he could afford to go other places, but he's always close to the action, so nobody tries to cross him, and also people that he's close to know that he's close and he could help at a moment's notice. Yeah, he does dive into how he pays his guys, or I guess you could relate it to a business paying his employees. He goes, I pay my men well, but not too well. He goes, if I pay them too much, they don't need me. If I pay them too little, he goes, they start to resent me. So finding the happy medium in paying your employees, how they need me, but they don't hate me. He goes, and then the last thing we'll cover in this movie is it better to be loved or is it better to be feared? Sonny says, it's nice to be both, but very hard. And he goes that he'd rather be feared because fear lasts longer than love. And he goes, then friendships bought with money are worthless. So I highly recommend watching A Bronx Tale. It's a great love story. It's a great mafia movie. It's really, I think, one of the most underrated movies of all time. Robert De Niro's directorial debut, isn't it? So let's wrap up the episode with some quotes. Now, last week's quote was, I find the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have, and that quote was by Thomas Jefferson. So this week, I found another great quote. The quote is, success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. So comment below who that's from. The winner will get a shout out. So that'll be on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Now, I take away from that is to just start working. Get to work. Don't take time to fantasize and dream about success. Get to work, and success will end up finding you. So that, I believe, wraps up episode 3 of the Success Agency podcast. This will be on LinkedIn. This will be on mainly YouTube, and we'll post clips of it on Instagram and Facebook, and of course, the lead generation ads on Facebook will also be a separate video on YouTube to check that out. So comment below any other social media tips that you would like to look for, that you'd like to see done. Again, if you're looking for social media management, visit thesuccessagency.com. On the top bar, we'll get you hooked up with a free campaign, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Now you can't leave.